Hey everybody, welcome to the first week of the tracking mark. I'm Nate, your TA. You've probably seen me lurking on Facebook and have received feedback from me on your homework so far. So this is what I sound like. What we're doing here is simply looking at some examples of your work, and so you can see what your peers have been doing and show off a little bit. Now, if you submitted the QTV project and you don't see yours, that means that I'm showing your example from the second project, and you'll see that later on. So I'm trying to get everybody who submitted some screen time. Well, let's jump right in. First example we've got queued up here is Philip. I'm going in no particular order, but Philip, let's see what you got.
There's a network for people who know what a fat quarter is. QTV, the network for quilters.
Alrighty, nice job, Philip, kicking us off here. What I'm seeing here is a nice straightforward edition of this project. One of the things that I like most about this submission is the animated monkey and spool of thread here at the end.
QTV, the network for...
It's always fun to see little touches like that, and also it gives our character something to look at. Now you might notice that we've got a little bit of the Swiss cheese apron going on here, and that's something that we'll figure out how to deal with in upcoming videos if you're not already familiar with maybe patching your green screen job with a mask in areas where you've got green on the apron and green on the green screen. What do? Just draw a little mask around the apron and animate it as she moves across the screen, and you'll take care of that problem. So we've got some nice animation of the logo and the other elements going on here. So good job to Phil. Sorry if you can hear the sound of my computer taking off into orbit. When I'm doing a screen capture, it tends to tax the machine a little bit. Okay, our second example is from Lawrence, and let's just, I'll shut up and we can just watch.
There's a network for people who know what a fat quarter is. QTV, the network for quilters.
All right, what stands out to me about this example is our little pulling away shot here. We've got a nice little camera move. We've got a little parallax going on. Elements moving. The sewing machine's maybe moving a little too fast there, but that's not a big problem. That's just a very satisfying move to watch going back and forth. Again, we've got the Swiss cheese apron. We've got a little bit of a harsh color cast on our character. Not the end of the world. We can figure that out. Again, this is our first example, so these are examples for a lot of you guys. This is your first time attempting something like this, and so I'm impressed. Nice job. Okay, next we've got Jonathan. As you can already see, he's made a bit of a bold choice here, changing up the color of the background. I love it.
There's a network for people who know what a fat quarter is. QTV, the network for quilters.
So this example is all about the surprises. Surprise, we're going with a purple background. Surprise, there's nothing there. Surprise! The logo comes in from the left. So here we go. That's a very original take on the exercise. So I like the originality with Jonathan's submission. Good job. Okay, now Jolyn.
There's a network for people who know what a fat quarter is. QTV, the network for quilters.
All right, what jumps out to me here is the animation of the sewing machine. There are a few of you that pulled that off. This is, I think, the first example that was submitted that included that, which is a fun touch. And it's just pounding away there at nothing. Again, with the parallax and the pullback. There's a couple of weird things going on with the edge of the Q here, a little discoloration or something. I'm not too concerned about it right now, but I know this was the hardest part for a lot of you of the whole project. It's maddening to deal with this elbow here. And there were a lot of different solutions. A lot of people went with the, hey, let's make it actually rest on the letter. Some of you went with compositing the arm behind the Q. Not really a right or wrong way to do it. But yeah, this is an example of being given footage that doesn't do you any favors. Okay, moving on to Catherine.
There's a network for people who know what a fat quarter is. QTV, the network for quilters.
All right, Catherine went with a more straightforward approach on this wide shot, but it's a solid composition, and I love the touch here at the beginning of putting the stack of fabric here on the left and having our talent walk out from behind it. That is visually interesting. And I think Catherine is the only student to have done this particular thing, so there's some originality points. Solid key, and yeah, compositing the arm behind the Q, which looks pretty clean. Nice job. Okie dokie, our final example of the QTV spot comes from Andy.
There's a network for people who know what a fat quarter is. QTV, the network for quilters.
We've got a whole lot going on in this wide shot, as we've got a little bit of bouncing ball animation going on with our spool of thread. Some nice motion blur as well. And each little item has some time to slide into frame. And as with most examples, there's some good blur going on in the background to kind of separate our foreground and background and our focus area. This stupid elbow. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. Okay, so nice job. That is the QTV Ultimate Fudge Factor exercise.